You know, there's a huge controversy brewing over cultural appropriation after a Utah teen wore a traditional Chinese dress to prom and then posted the pictures on Twitter. The tweet causing an uproar with progressive, left-wingers, and social justice warriors online who say wearing that dress was racist. So can a country or a nation that prides itself on being a melting pot really have cultural appropriation? Here now to discuss, Beverly Hallberg, president of District Media Group, and Emily Jasinski, commentary writer for the Washington Examiner. Beverly, I just don't get it. I just think they've gone too far again.
Over a prom dress, and we're talking about a teenage girl who thought this was a beautiful dress and she wanted to wear it. And what's ironic about this is she's actually received a lot of support from mainland China, from Chinese individuals who say that this is actually a way for her to appreciate their culture. And another part of the hypocrisy is even one of the individuals who was tweeting out some hateful things towards her, Jeremy Lamb. He himself, who is an American of Asian descent, is wearing a hat with the Adidas logo in his profile picture. So is that racist towards German people that he's wearing a hat that's made in Germany? And that's really the ridiculousness of this all, is where does this go from here if we're so sensitive? And I would even say this is a way to appreciate other cultures, but yet we have individuals out there who think it's doing the opposite.
Yeah, Emily, I mean, and a lot of these people who are upset are the ones who talk about open borders and you know, bring in people, you know, the new Colossus, right? Okay, fine, but you know, I thought we were prideful. I thought that was one of our sources of pride, that you know, so many people from so many parts of this country, or the world rather, have come here, and we've all gotten along pretty well, particularly more recently.
Yeah, and you know, we learn a lot from each other, right? And that's a huge part of the beauty of America. And the conversation about cultural appropriation it's an interesting one that's often more ridiculous than useful, because certainly there are occasions when people take something from another culture to mock that culture. But oftentimes these things, what they do is assume a racist motive. And this young lady defended herself very gracefully, seems to have defended herself very gracefully, saying, listen, I know the history of this dress.
Right.
I appreciate the culture. This is not appropriation, it's appreciation. And so to assume those motives
right.
is where this gets really problematic.
And to Beverly's point, the poll in China, 92% appreciate her wearing the dress. Ladies, have breaking news. President Trump just now tweeting, quote, "This isn't some game. You are screwing with the work of the President of the United States. John Dowd, March 2018, with North Korea, China, the Middle East, and so much more. There is not much time to be thinking about this, especially since there was no Russian collusion." Dowd, of course, led the Trump's team response to the Mueller probe until he resigned in March. Beverly, we're changing the topic here because President Trump has been pushing on this all day long. As obviously he's getting anxious about this. Rudy Giuliani negotiating with Robert Mueller about if we do meet, you know, some parameters so that that you just don't, you know, beat the president up. Where do you stand on this? And do you think President Trump should just sort of lay back right now?
I'm not sure if he's going to have much choice in whether or not he is going to be forced to speak to Mueller. I do think parameters are necessary, making sure that it's not a lot of time, maybe setting a time limit for it. But I know he's anxious to get this past him. He has a lot of work that he wants to do. And he is saying, and I think a lot of Americans are saying, we just want to know what the investigation puts out there. I understand why he's pushing back on this. I think us as Americans, we just want to know what the answers are because we have far more pressing things. If there isn't anything there.
Emily, I agree 1,000%. Everyone wants to see this come to a conclusion.
Yeah, everyone wants to see it come to a conclusion, and quickly, too, because this has actually been going on for a really long time now. I know the news cycle moves so quickly, but when you take a look back, I mean, this is going on forever, and the president's frustration is absolutely understandable. But what you said, Charles, asking whether maybe he should lay low, I do think that probably would be in his best interest going forward, because it just drives this news cycle more and more and more and keeps it in the headlines.
It's tough. Ladies, thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.